What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Moon Days with Michael. I'm your host of World Channel, Michael, and I am cutting out the esoteric middleman and giving you the tools you need to connect yourself right to the source. So this is part 2 of our little Arcturian mini-series. So in this video, we're actually going to be talking about the traits of you being a Arcturian Starseed.
Stop. You capping right there, bro.
Or actually carrying the energy in your birth chart. So real quick, if you want to see if you actually have Arcturus placed in your birth chart, you can look for anything that is conjuncting 24-30 degrees of Libra, and that is where you'll find Arcturus.
Top secret.
If you have Arcturus conjuncting, say, your moon, then that is actually the place where you were birthed. It's where your spirit first kind of came from. If you have it, say, in your Jupiter or your ascendant, perhaps, or maybe even your sun sign, this is going to elude the fact that you have actually been to Arcturus in a very recent lifetime. So without any further ado, let's hop into the 9 traits of you being an Arcturian starseed. Trait number 1 is that these people tend to be more in a shell than other people. And the reason for this is because they're not entirely sure how people are going to handle the knowledge and information and wisdom that they have. So Arcturians incarnate to be spiritual leaders, teachers, and warriors, and given the certain time that we are living in on Earth, not everyone has quite yet opened up to the fact that we are all moving in towards a ascension or a awakening process.
Waiting.
So they tend to be in a shell and very careful with who they disclose what information. Now this also ties into trait number 2, is that these people often feel very different from a very early age. A lot of people will say that felt different, unwanted, or like an outcast when I was younger. These people don't necessarily feel that. It's just more that they feel like they're meant for something else. I don't exactly want to say that they were meant for a higher purpose, because higher just seems isolating in a way. However, these people knew that they came here with some sort of mission, some sort of goal that they quite haven't figured out yet. And that led to them being more closed off than other people would usually be. Trait number 3 of you being an Arcturian starseed is your desire for change.
That the world fixes its shit.
And this goes into the past history of Arcturus, of where they weren't always the fun-loving, enlightened, and uplifting planet or star system that they are now. They had to go through a bunch of change and breaking down the old systems in order for them to actually get to where they are now, and to be one of the most fortunate stars in the sky. Now, trait number 5 is if you somehow entered into a position of being a spiritual leader, or a teacher, or some kind of person who's always searching and then passing on spiritual, metaphysical information and wisdom. Due to the past history of Arcturus, a lot of times when these people incarnate, they incarnate with the mission of actually being spiritual teachers, warriors, showing people the things that have been left unseen, or the stones that have been unturned in a way. They want to make sure that nothing goes missed, and they want to make sure that everyone is aware of the things that they are not currently aware of. Trait number 5 is that these people desire and sort of need their own personal freedom and personal space.
Touching me, she's touching me.
And this goes into them being in a shell, right? They feel like outcasts from the world, and due to this, they love to have their own personal freedom and own personal space, especially in relationships. Having that freedom, having that space is very calming and very comfortable to them, and they need to feel like they're able to go and retreat into that if they need to. So oftentimes these people may seem very introverted. However, once you really get to know them, you'll understand that they become more of the life of the party than you ever realized before. Trait number 6 is that these people love deep questions. They may not always be the ones to ask it because of being very unsure of how people will take those questions and how people will look at them. However, if you ask them a deep question, you better get some coffee, get some comfy chairs, sit and hunker down, because they're going to talk your ear off 100%. They love talking about this stuff. They love knowing more. They love learning more, especially when it comes to the things that people don't often talk about. So whenever they're put in a position of them to be actually asked those questions, or for them to actually listen to someone talk about it, they're going to. So if you're an Arcturian starseed and you get asked that question, you better give that person a couple minutes to actually sit down, get comfortable, and then start the 7-hour-long conversation of you talking about whatever it is that they talked about.
Did you forget how to have a conversation?
And, you know, let's not forget about tangents. One question always leads to another. Trait number 7 is that these people love science. However, they also love mixing it with spirituality and metaphysics, right? So these people have a natural aptitude towards science just due to the advanced nature of Arcturus and their homeworld. However, they also love mixing science with metaphysics and spirituality. They don't have to be separate things. Physical science can oftentimes correlate to spirituality and metaphysics in a way that most people don't actually see. Spiritual things correlate physically, and these people love putting that stuff together. Trait number 8 is that these people can be extremely fast learners. This ties back into the star system of Arcturus, where they were going through a little rocky rough patch and they didn't have a lot of time to actually figure things out. They had to learn very fast, they had to realize what they were doing wrong extremely quickly, and then they had to quickly come up with solutions and fix the problems that have arisen from years of not exactly being set on the right path. And it's kind of like a very earthly situation. We need to learn fast, we need to know these things quick, we need to make sure we have an understanding in order to make sure that the next generations go in the direction that they need to go. So these people will learn very fast, and it doesn't even necessarily have to be spiritual things either. It can be science, math, really anything that they do. Typically, they'll gain the understanding of it a lot faster than other people would. Now, trait number 9 of you being an Arcturian starseed, and arguably one of the most important, is that you may have a problem connecting your higher natures to your lower natures, and you may have a problem with actually grounding yourself. So just given the nature of how high vibrational Arcturus is and how different Earth is, these people have a hard time connecting their higher natures into their lower natures. They want to return back to that comfortable high vibrating space. However, they truly do want to be here in a way and actually helping people and teaching people.
You're making that up.
So the connection between their higher natures and their lower natures need to be connected. They need to find a way to ground themselves because it's very important. Without grounding, the life on Earth is going to seem very unwelcoming and very uncomfortable in a way. It is something that these people have problems with, and once they figure out, will actually make them feel a little bit more comfortable being here on Earth. So with that being said, this concludes the 9 traits of being an Arcturian starseed. If you guys have any other starseed breakdowns you guys want, or any other star breakdowns, leave a comment down below. We'd love to hear from you. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, we'd really deeply appreciate it. And don't forget to check out our social medias, especially our Instagram, where we post the daily alignments. Basically a breaking down and understanding of every day's energy every day on the daily. You're welcome. And of course, if you guys like to request any kind of natal reading, or any kind of reading for that matter, email us down below, readings@solarsystems.org. Until next time, fly high, y'all.